On today's installment of LifeFoodFilm.com, we're making milkfish, which is a Filipino favorite. Here we have the boneless milkfish belly, which we're frosting. Had some running water going here earlier. And actually, we're going to use some vinegar as a trick not to get too much of the fish smell in the house. We'll show you how to do that in a minute. Today we'll be preparing our fried fish with a sweet and sour vegetable mix called escabeche. That's spelled E-S-C-A-B-E-C-H-E. In addition to our bell pepper, green onion, carrot, and ginger, we have our chayote vegetable. That's spelled C-H-A-Y-O-T-E. For our sweet and sour sauce, we're going to use a base of 1/4 cup of white vinegar, 1/2 cup of water, 1/6 cup of honey, and a dash of ground black pepper. Now we're peeling our chayote and carrot. We're going to go ahead and do julienne cuts of all the vegetables. And as a side note, with the escabeche sauce, traditionally it's done with brown sugar, but in our version we're using honey. As you can see, our vegetables are nicely julienne. We're finishing up the carrots here. Normally we use a panko Asian breading mix for our fish or a wheat flour, but today we're going to improvise with a whole grain cereal with nuts and fruits that we're going to grind up in this coffee grinder here. Interesting way to go. I think it should work out nicely. And it looks like we got about a 1/2 cup out of this grinder with the breading mix, and as you can see, it looks just about like most breading mix you would use with fish. And when you do your breading, you just want to get a nice thin even coat on there. And we're starting off with some olive oil. We've got our heat set to just above medium. And you want to fry until you get just a nice golden brown. The milkfish has a high omega-3 content. It's relatively fatty. Go ahead and put that down. So you may want to keep a lid handy to protect yourself from the spits and spurts of the fryer. We've gone ahead and turned our heat down a bit, so what you want to do is turn the fish at about 3 to 5 minutes. And here we are. There you go. And cover back up there. So we'll go ahead and put our ingredients in for our sauce. And again, we're using about a medium heat on the range top. Go ahead and stir your ingredients together after getting the honey in there. Again, the traditional recipe uses the brown sugar, but we're using the honey today. And here we go, ready to come out with the first fillet. And as you can see, it's a nice golden brown. Our sauce is coming together nicely, and a little bit of salt in there. And some pepper. With the sauce, first you bring it to a boil, and then once that's done, you'll add the ginger first. And we're just starting to get a little boil on that. And we'll put the ginger in there. Now that we're starting to get boiled to come up, we're going to go ahead and add our vegetables. And then once you've done this, you can turn it down to a simmer. You want your vegetables to reduce a bit, and once that happens, you can add the rest. The actual sweet and sour sauce looks deceptively thin, but when you taste it and smell the aroma, it's actually quite pungent. As you continue to reduce it, it does become a bit thicker, however. At about this point, you can go ahead and put the lid on, and that'll help it reduce quicker and hold in the moisture of the fluids for the sauce. And when your vegetables have reduced to about where you'd like them, you can go ahead and plate them on top of the fish. These have reduced rather nicely with the sauce mixed in with the vegetables. A lot of folks will use cornstarch to thicken up the sauce. We've opted not to do that today. And lastly, as a garnish, you can put chives on top. And there you have it. Fried fish with sweet and sour vegetables and rice with quinoa. For more recipes, come to lifefoodfilm.com.